Hi guys, Troy from Philippines here, and I'm going to show you my version of a paper basketball game. In the comments below, I'll show you my previous video on basketball, but this is one that I drew at nighttime because it's going to be because it was a present for my mom and dad, and since they were sleeping, I made this little piece of pie that I made a cool basketball myself. And how I made the hoop is I used like half of a cone, like a full cone will be right down here, but I used like half of that, so it's like the real hoop. And the real hoop it's angled a bit on both sides, so it's like a trapezoid shape. But it's not really a trapezoid shape, and it's not really a cylinder shape. It's usually like this kind of shape. But I made the back part flat so it can be connected to stuff. So how I drew it is I just got some random lines right here, and drew the rim on top. How I do the top part right here is I used two of the same pieces of paper, glued them together, and I drew a rectangle right there. And how I made this thing here, and this little supporting beam thing is actually, I used two pencils or two pens and put them on either side, and then just rolled a piece of paper and took it out so you can see the size of a pencil. You can see it's about the same size. And how I connected it to the top is I used this piece of paper with this thing in between, and I cut the bottom pieces into just lines so it can be connected to the screw base, which looks like a basketball field. And how I made the basketball is I used two circle pieces of paper and cut them in half, but not completely in half. It's like half of that, and then put them together and just tape them together. And I got another circle, but instead I cut them into quarters and then taped them into the thing here to make it pretty decent and a pretty effective looking ball effect. And you can see here's in there. And remember my previous video about basketball? Here is the ball that was in there, and I actually glued the hoop. Not really glued the hoop, but I got some like glue dots and glued out the hoop onto the wall. You see, it is right there. So the link is going to be in the comments below to see that video, and I'll see you later. Bye.